Not caring about how you look or feel is not confidence. I know, like myself included, I used to believe that just simply not caring what other people think was confidence itself. But looking back on that, I realized that that's not true. And so that's what I'm going to be discussing today. Just the fact that we stopped believing that we were worth putting in effort for ourselves. If you're new here, my name is Izzy, and I am 29 years old, mom of 5 kids. And I'm going to talk to you guys about something that I feel like not a lot of people really talk about, honestly, which is the fact that taking care of yourself is probably one of the best things you ever can do for yourself and all the people around you. The topics I'm going to be covering today are why we stop taking care of ourselves in relationships, or at least the most likely reason why we stop taking care of ourselves in relationships, because obviously some of this might not apply to every single person, but for those of you who do relate to me, like when you hear about it, you're going to connect the dots and be able to relate to that. So I'm going to be discussing the relationships and why it's hurting yourself as well as everyone else. And then motherhood, because in motherhood it makes you kind of disappear and you just start to kind of forget about yourself, which honestly can kind of it's kind of the same thing with relationships too, but I'm going to go more in depth on that in this video. And essentially I'm just going to talk about why self-care is not selfish, because so many people, let's for example say you have set a boundary in your life with someone and they didn't respect that boundary and they tell you you're selfish because you set a boundary. I feel like that's something that's probably pretty common with people, is they set a boundary after not having set boundaries for so long, and this other person is calling them selfish for setting a boundary which protects yourself. Setting boundaries helps protect yourself, and that does not make you selfish. So we're going to explain all that in today's video. And then I'm going to talk about what self-care might look like if you have a lot of responsibilities in your life as well as kids, and give you some examples of ways you could do that and implement that in your own life. So first we're going to be talking about relationships, and because with most relationships, especially when they're brand new, we put in so much effort because we're trying to win this person and show them our very best self. So we get our hair dressed up nicely, we put on really nice clothes and try to we just take so much extra care of ourselves to try to look so nice for this other person and to give them a very good impression. But then the longer you're in a relationship, the more comfortable you get, and a lot of those things kind of go out the door, and you stop prioritizing the things that you used to with taking care of yourself, because you don't need to impress anyone anymore. So you're why do I need to do this anymore? I've already got the person. I don't need to, those are the thoughts you start having. So, if you think about it, you were putting the effort in for them, essentially, at the beginning of a relationship, but then you have to ask yourself, why didn't you put that effort in for yourself? Because if you were doing it for yourself, you would have done it even after, staying in a relationship with them. Not necessarily, I guess that's not necessarily the case, but before you meet someone, you'll put in the effort for yourself. And I understand the fact that life and things happen where we can lose ourselves, but what I'm trying to say is that you are worth putting the effort in for yourself, even inside of the relationship. So that's what you should continue to do, even if you're not trying to do it to impress them, because if you have a good partner to begin with, then they do deserve you at your best self. And you also deserve that for yourself, because abandoning taking care of yourself is only going to hurt you in the long run. And it costs you more than you realize. Now, the second thing we do in relationships is that if you are a people pleaser, like me, this isn't for all relationships, but this is for, I think, a lot of relationships. If you guys can relate, just let me know. But I feel that we fall into a pattern of wanting to constantly give and make the other person happy as possible. And then we end up sacrificing so much that we kind of forget to take care of ourselves, because we're putting so much energy into pleasing and making this other person happy. So when you are doing that, you are essentially starting to basically depend on this other person based off their own mood and the way you treat you. And if you are doing that, then you're going to feel up and down all the time, because your mood is based off how their mood is. And because you want to please them, right? So if they're in a bad mood, you're going to do everything you can to try to please them even more, when that's not always possible. We can't always fix their problems. Like, that's their emotional thing to deal with. That's not something we should be dealing with, because we don't want to depend on someone else to make us happy necessarily. Like, this person should be like an added into your life, like an extra bonus type of thing, whereas you should be able to make yourself happy, and you should still be able to be your own person inside of the relationship. And because if you have completely disappeared in your own relationship, then you're not going to be able to build a solid relationship with that other person anyway. Like, you need to be able to know what you like, what you dislike, and just know yourself. And then when you have kids, that gets even harder, because you have these other lives that you have to take care of and keep alive and feed, and so you pour like every bit of yourself into taking care of your kids, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be a bad thing if you're giving them every last drop that you have, and to the point where you just feel completely like the whole life is just sucked out of you. Then your kids are getting the worst version of you, and your kids don't deserve to have the worst version of you. They deserve to see you taking care of yourself, because kids watch everything we do, and they will take after that. They watch us more than they actually listen to us. So if we are setting an example of taking care of ourselves, then they're going to learn how that they should take care of themselves as well. So basically, your kids deserve the best version of yourself, your partner deserves the best version of yourself, and you deserve the best version of yourself. And in order to do that, you have to take care of yourself and prioritize those things in your life if you're not doing so. There was a point in my life where I basically stopped caring what people thought. Like, I just thought that not caring what people really thought about me or anything was, in fact, what the confidence was. But I don't think that's true at all, because it's like I literally just didn't put the effort in for myself. And I'm like, well, who cares how I look? Like, you know, like, obviously you don't want to care what other people think, because like you can't let other people's thoughts drive the way you feel about yourself anyway. But like that's just the excuse, okay? That's the excuse for going out without putting any effort in yourself and just being like, well, yeah, I didn't put effort in myself because who cares? Like, I don't care. Like you should care. The reason you should care is because when you actually take the effort to like actually take care of yourself, like, you know, you're styling your hair a little differently, or, well, it doesn't have to be different. It can be like even the simplest hairstyle. Like, taking care of yourself doesn't have to be complicated, okay? It can be very simple, and I'll explain that a little later. But what I'm saying is, you could take care of, like, you could do like your makeup a little bit, make sure you're washing your face every day, brushing your hair, styling your hair in a way that you actually love and feel good with, learning how to style your hair if you don't know how to yet. Some people might not know how to style the hair, and maybe they just don't take the time to learn that, but like, take some time to put in for yourself to learn how to do your hair if that's something you struggle with. For example, like, I'm just throwing out a few examples. But seriously, like, when you start feeling like you're not worth putting the effort in for, like, literally everything around in your life feels it too, and like your energy drops, you don't feel like doing things as much, and it happens. Like, I understand we're all human, and even the most confident people can have days where they don't feel their best, including myself. And I would not say I'm the most confident person either. I'm working on that, okay? That is something I am still working on. So I'm just like sharing things with you guys that I have learned through everything that I've been learning. But I just want to reiterate that not caring is not confidence, but deciding that you are worth showing up for even when no one is watching, that is what confidence is. Okay. So we're going to talk about self-care and what that actually signals to yourself a little more in depth. The way you treat yourself tells you exactly how you feel about yourself. So if you're having thoughts where you are telling yourself that you're ugly, that you don't look good, that is how you feel about yourself. And like, our thoughts literally shape more than you realize. When you start talking to yourself saying, I'm kind, I love my dark hair, I love my brown eyes, I love my smile, and saying things that you love about yourself and actually like you actually love those things about yourself, the more you start to do that, the more your brain changes, and it just affects everything else on the outside of you. So every time you wake up and wash your face, you're telling yourself that you matter. Every time you get up and brush your teeth, you're telling yourself that you matter. Every time you get up and you get dressed and put on something that you love wearing and something that you feel good in, you are telling yourself that you matter. And every time you eat something that's balanced and you move your body and you do something you enjoy, you're just proving to yourself over and over again that you are worth the effort. This isn't about looking perfect. This isn't about having an elaborate routine to follow all the time. This is just about having a decision that you make where you just show up for yourself every day. Because over time, that decision compounds, it builds, and it's going to change how you see yourself and move through the world. Just remember that you cannot feel good about yourself and treat yourself badly at the same time. How you treat yourself is how you feel about yourself. If you change one, then you change the other. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to explain why taking care of yourself is not selfish, and I really need you to listen. When you're okay and you're feeling good and you're feeling good about yourself because you're taking care of yourself, your kids benefit, your partner benefits, and everyone else around you benefits from that. When you are running around on empty, then you are short-tempered, you might be a little more angry, resentful, and you're just plain out exhausted. This doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that you literally have nothing left to give, because we all have our own capacity of what we're able to give. And in order to fill that back up, you have to be putting that into yourself. You have to be filling yourself back up. If you are constantly not doing things to fill yourself back up truly, then you're not actually giving people your best self, and you're doing yourself a huge disservice to everybody, including yourself. The people who love you do not need the depleted version of you. They need you to be a whole person, and being a whole person is not selfish. It's literally the most loving thing you can do for every single person in your life. You're probably wondering, what can I do in order to take care of myself better and prioritize my needs more? Because this is very important. To start out, if you are someone who is literally not doing anything for yourself, you don't wash your face, you don't take a shower regularly. Well, obviously, I hope you're taking a shower regularly. I don't know why I said that. I think some of you might struggle to take a shower, possibly, maybe if you're a mom. So I know a lot of you might be thinking, I don't have time to take care of myself. It's so complicated and blah, 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 blah. But you have to make time, okay? Even if you feel like you don't have time, you have to start making boundaries with your kids in order to have time to take care of yourself, and boundaries with other people in your life. Maybe if they are kind of interfering with your time for yourself, you've got to set some boundaries, and then you have to make that time for yourself, because that means you love yourself. But I'm also going to tell you that if you need ideas on how you can take care of yourself, some of you might not prioritize even doing the simplest self-care for yourself. So that's where I would start. I would start small. I wouldn't try to do every single thing at once. I would start with one thing. So let's say you want to wash your face more consistently. You can do that every morning and night. Or you want to start styling your hair more, and then you can do that. Just start with one thing, and then over time add on more things the more consistent you're getting with that. And then on top of those self-care things, because moving your body, eating healthy, and just taking care of yourself, washing your body, washing your hair, styling your hair in a way that you actually love, those things are all self-care. And then on top of that self-care, the normal baseline self-care, you can start doing things you actually enjoy, your own hobbies. And because we really should still be our own person, and having our own hobbies and things that we enjoy doing for ourselves helps keep us as our own person, our own autonomy, own identity, because you can't depend on anyone else to make you happy except for yourself. So you have to have those things that you love doing, and then come together with other people, and you'll be a whole person. Be able to give people your whole self if you do that. So stop waiting. Stop waiting until every single person is okay before you take care of yourself. Because that moment's not going to get here. It's not going to come. You are worth the effort right now, today, as you are. So pick one thing. Just one thing, just for you, and do not feel guilty about it. And that's exactly where it starts. Just picking one thing and sticking with that. So tell me in the comments one thing that you love doing to take care of yourself. And just in case no one has told you, you deserve to be taken care of. So start with yourself. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you liked this video, because I'll be coming up with more videos like this in the future. And also probably sharing some of my hobbies with you guys, because my channel is all about simple routines and taking care of yourself so that you have more time for your hobbies and the things that you do enjoy.